Get it.
All right, so welcome back to the Almost Awesome podcast. We're on episode number 26. For those of you who are just joining the podcast for the very first time, warm welcomes from me, Mark, your main host, and of course we have my co-host, my brother Matt, over there on the side, wrong side, this side. Well, welcome to you guys. You guys, new or old, whether this is the first podcast you're listening to or you've listened to many others. But regardless, moving on with the show. Today we would like to welcome. So I'm ready, too excited. I'd like to welcome our good friend Ralf onto the show. Ralf, the man with the smoothest, sexiest moves you've ever seen.
Ooh.
The party animal himself. Unrivaled in both sexiness and I can't think of the second term. I was going to say alcohol consumption, but yeah, we'll see. If you want to challenge him, good luck.
How's it going, guys? We all are having an amazing day. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, it's crazy to believe that Christmas is only in a couple days.
It is.
What better gift to give than the gift of Ralf?
Merry Christmas.
You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. I know. But anyways, what we usually do with the podcast, for those of you who are just listening, we have a dress code that's determined by our guest. So today, Ralph's choice of theme and dress code was band shirts. So I'm rocking a Sum 41 shirt. Matt, you got a Blink-182 shirt. And Ralph, I don't know what ADTR is.
Day to remember.
A day to remember. Oh.
Day to remember. Yeah. I had to come out, left field with it.
True.
Everyone's expecting me to wear Blink, but anyways, yeah.
You could have.
So I got it on.
Matt's got my top tier Blink shirt on. So.
Hell yeah.
But I'd like to ask, why band shirts? Was it just off a whim? Is it just because something you had? But just out of curiosity, why?
It was literally gonna be just wear something black, but I'm like, nah, black is too easy, or whatever. So I'm just I think band tees is workable because I know each of you guys probably have a couple. Well, Matt's here visiting, so you know what I mean. But plus it's something that I've always dig band shit ever since I was younger. But since it became more easy to access as we got older, when I say older, past 18, Hot Topic started making more bandies. I'm like, oh shit, I actually like these bands because remember Hot Topic was all super goth. I was like, oh. And then it's oh, they're doing they pretty much do meme shit, internet shit. They'll throw it on a t-shirt or whatever.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay. But yeah.
It was close. I had to dig deep for this one. I was just I remember having some shirts, but most of them were hand-me-downs, and I was like, do I actually ever remember buying a band shirt? Or going, I guess my thought was have I gone to a concert? And I was just okay, I think I've gone to one. Actually gone to one and bought, have I bought a band shirt?
In
I was
merch.
I don't think I ever have. And I was shit, I may not have one. But thanks to my older brother for hooking me up with this shirt.
Well, nice.
Nice. I would have worn a yellow card shirt if I was.
I know. I love that yellow card shirt.
Better prepared for that one. Yeah, for sure.
Such a dope.
Yeah, that was their last concert, I think, in Orlando.
Yeah, they did 3 nights or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm I gotta get a shirt. I got to. But I'm rocking the Blink shirt this week, so still works.
It's all good. So to go ahead and get us started on the podcast. Lately we've been doing a poll question, a question that we throw out to the audience and give you guys a chance to be a part of the conversation that we're having. And this week's question was, what do you think is stopping you from achieving your goals? And a lot of people, it's easy to set up goals, to set up dreams and stuff like that. But I think a lot of times something gets in the way, and we're just like we don't know exactly, what's stopping us from being able to accomplish this, right? Whether it's just a mindset, whether it's something physical, where like easy one is like money, like monetary, right? It's a huge wall for some goals, but I think a big part in learning how to achieve those goals is identifying, what's in my way right now. Let me figure out like one thing, like what's in my way, and how can I overcome this? And one response that we got was like they went through like a list of different things that they came to the realization that's kind of stopping them. So they listed out like doubt, fear, like comfortability, and like not wanting to like move. Like when you're in a comfortable situation, why are you going to go out and take a risk and possibly be uncomfortable or be in a worse situation, right? Laziness and stuff like that. And they also said based on their night schedule, it's kind of like messed things up with like their normal routines, where I know they were telling me, like based on personal interactions, just having a night schedule, you work overnight, and then basically when you get home, you have that long period after work to like sleep and rest, right? But naturally the body, it's almost like the body knows, it's like, no, it's daytime right now, let's be up and about.
Mm-hmm.
But since you've worked the night, it's just like, no, we haven't even slept. We've slept like 2 hours. It can't be fully functioning to do stuff like this. So just like almost thinking and identifying, like that's a good first step of identifying like what's potentially stopping you from like moving on to your next level, whether it's personal development or even just employment growth. And the next thing is just figuring out like what to do, what's the next step. And one thing that we mentioned, that was mentioned to him, was, or that he mentioned, was basically like, it's hard for me to hold myself accountable to kind of, get the ball rolling, to get moving, do stuff, or like let's work to get out of this like droning lifestyle, right? And one thing I told him was just like, you have, like, if you can't hold yourself accountable, that's not terrible, right? At least like, I don't have the willpower to hold myself accountable. But I recommended, like, hey, you have friends, like, let them know what's going on. Like, ask them if they can kind of keep tabs on you to like help you out or like boost you, right? Because there are other ways to get around it other than being like, yeah, I can't hold myself accountable, so there's no point.
Right.
So sorry to drone on like that, but what do you guys think? For like do you guys have any specific goals that you're trying to get to, that you're currently just kind of like stuck at?
Ralph, I'll let you go first.
Well, so me personally, my main thing that I'm like trying to like juggle is just like, cause besides like work, like cause I'm kind of like the same mindset. Like when whoever it was, they said they work overnight. I'm like, oh, I can relate to that because I work overnight also. But my main thing is I'm like, I want to get like Twitch affiliate, and I also want to make like gains, because I've been trying to get back in the gym like the last month or so. But it's kind of like tough, because it's like, man, like you gotta like dedicate a certain amount of time to like streaming, and then hours into like gymming. Well, not hours, but at least an hour or two. And then I feel like sometimes like there's definitely days where I'm just like, man, like, nah, I'm just gonna like game and chill with my bros or whatever. Cause like I usually like link up with my Lakeland friends and like play Fortnite and just bullshit and catch up and stuff. But actually, like recently, I'm just like, man, I haven't streamed in like a month, and I'm just like, why is that? And I'm just like, is it cause you're lazy? Is it cause you're just like, fuck this? Have you given up? or whatever. And I look, you think about like as from like a streaming standpoint, like you look at the big streamers, like Ninja and all that, and like they were grinding for a while. They're streaming for like a good 4 years, but then I mean, it paid off. Man's balling, they're balling. I'm just like, but that goes with everything though. Like whatever you're trying to reach, like gymming, getting gains, trying to get that promotion, trying to get to a higher position and stuff. Like even if you're like switching to a different company or something, like it's like yo, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's like you gotta like grind it out, and like it's tough. And that's why like the other night, since I work overnights, bro, like I swear like 3 to 4 o'clock is when I'm always just like the deep thoughts hit me, and I'm just like, man, like that's when I tweeted that, man, if it was easy, everyone would have it. Everyone would have a 6-pack, be stacked. Everyone would be making like at least 6 figures or something. But you just gotta grind, man, and be dedicated, and you know what I mean. So,
So to kind of re-ask the question, so you mentioned basically like you feel like, I guess overall your goal would be like 2 separate goals, right? If we tackle them one at a time, would be streaming and then like working out again, right?
right.
So what do you think is stopping you from like streaming more? Is it just like the low energy, the weird times that you're able to stream, that you're like kind of up and awake and you're like, oh, there's no point in streaming because it's like middle of the day? Like what do you think? Is it just kind of like mentality, like where it's just like I guess like, because you mentioned that there are times where you just want to go and like play Fortnite with your boys, right? But can't you just stream that too? Like isn't that content itself?
It's true. That is true.
So I guess like, so in reality, like what do you think is like preventing you from just like kind of like, let's just turn the on button. If we're gonna play games, let's turn the on button to start streaming it live, even if it's just like a couple rounds, maybe like less than an hour of a stream.
Mm-hmm. Well, like to me, like less than like, yeah, like less than an hour is like not even worth it in my eyes, because I'm just like, because some people are not gonna see your notification, or like they're not gonna see your tweet or Facebook, because I post on Facebook also. It's like they're not gonna see it till maybe 30 minutes to an hour later, and they're gonna come in and just like catch me in my last 2 minutes. Like from my perspective, as far as streaming goes, I'm just like, man, you gotta at least do like 2 hours or something. So like people will be like, oh, this guy's like about it. Like, he really wants to do this. He likes, his community. He has one or whatever. Like, but also when you're like, why don't you just like turn on the stream or whatever, like just like reconnecting like friends and stuff. Sometimes like I'm just like, well, I kind of like wait, I want to like connect, and then it's like bullshit or whatever. But I'm also with the mindset, like my mindset might be kind of like low, or like not that, I'm not gonna say that week, but maybe like those couple days I'm just like, there's shit like weighing on my mind, and I'm just like, I don't want to be a negative Nancy. Like you don't want to be a streamer that's just like bitching or whatever. It's like, oh, why did I tune into this guy's stream? Like I want to be like positive for like people for the community or people that tune in. It's like, oh, this guy's pretty jolly or whatever. Like he's giving off some like positive vibe. Even though he lost, he's like, oh yeah, next one, on to the next one. Like, yeah, we lost, I got wrecked or whatever. Like match type shit.
So do you think a solution would be like trying to find finding a way to like get that energy, or like to like almost like hype yourself up to stream, to like kind of like boost yourself up and then just kind of do it? Because like I definitely run into the same thing too, where it's just like I'll catch myself like I'll play like 2 games of League or like 3 games. I'm like, dang, I could have streamed for like an hour and a half. Like that's like a decent stream. Like even if I'm not like paying attention honestly to like chat and stuff, like at least I'm making content. But I definitely I definitely feel you, where it's just like sometimes it's just hard, where it's just like, man, like pressing that on button to record, like there's there's like a lot of weight to it, right? Where it's just like, oh
There is.
shit, like I have to do this. I have to do this. But do you think like I guess because I guess I don't really do it. Maybe it's something I should be doing. But like, do you have like a hype playlist, or like even just like something like, I guess like some people would do like almost like the way you would warm up before a workout and just get your blood pumping and going, and then you go into like your heavy lifts and stuff. Do you think you could do? Do you think you have something like that you could kind of incorporate into like your day-to-day activities to kind of pump you up and then get you to start streaming more often?
That's actually a good idea. No, it's literally as, I'm not gonna say as bad as this, but like if I wake up, or not if I, but when I wake up and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna stream today, or like I wake up and it's like, nah, I'm not gonna stream today. It's like it's a 50-50, and like that's kind of bad. But like you're saying, like it's something like maybe I'll put on like a pregame, like a separate pregame besides, because I have like my gym playlist. I'm like, maybe I should make like another playlist for gaming, or it's like it's like, yo, just get straight up in it and have fun. Because there's definitely some people, like with your streams, like for example, when you were doing like the homework assignments, like a lot of people were, there's like five to 10 people, like it's like, oh, he's just like, he's doing this and then he's like interacting with us like more. So there's definitely, I definitely like feel that though, because like there's some streamers that I follow, they're like smaller, 10-15 people viewers, and like I connect with them more because like we're just smaller and it's like they have more time for us type thing. So I'm like, I've got like a couple of viewers that are like, oh yeah, they'll like tune in when they can, of course, and then they're like keep me company. Damn, it's like that's actually sick. Like knowing that like the chat's not just. It's definitely like a booster.
For sure,
Yeah,
for
it definitely like changes the game when you can interact with people. But I completely understand. Like it is exhausting to stream, even if you're doing the same thing and you're not like planning to interact with the audience. You don't put on a show. Just like hitting that start streaming button is really tiring. But I think what's really cool, like Ralph, about what you talked about, is like this concept that you like have the brand that you want to show on your stream, which is like that positive vibes thing, and it's like powerful enough so that you don't want to stream if you're not in the right vibe, which I think is really cool because it kind of shows like the kind of community you would like to build is like that positive vibe community and not like a yo, I'm tilted and pissed and raging community.
Right.
Like so much so that you don't stream during those times. And I think like realizing that distinction is really cool. And I think like what Mark said is really cool too, is like if you can get yourself or figure out how to get yourself into that mindset consistently, then you have like something that's cool because then you can like keep streaming and you like continue to push that version of you that in that community that you want to build. But I think it is hard like figuring out that strategy. I love the idea of like having a playlist that like kind of gets
That
you
is-
in the mood of it. That's pretty sick. I've never thought about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. In regards to streaming, I guess because I thought about it recently, where we talked about it before on older podcasts about how like some people will just wait for motivation to hit them before they start doing stuff, right? And I was like, this kind of pertains to streaming too. Like, imagine streaming and having like the same sort of mentality you would have to like going to work, right? Like even if you've been having a shitty day, you can't just call off work and be like, I'm just kind of not feeling it today. Don't want to go in. If you do that, you're probably gonna get your ass fired, and then you're like, well, shit. So like, I guess one thing that could help as well is almost jump into it, right? Just start doing it. Let the action happen, and then you'll start getting motivated to do it. And especially if you've already like started to like cultivate a community, or even just like having some people in chat, those could be the people that could be the source of like motivation for you to be like, let me try to be a little bit more positive. Like even if you're like kind of even if you have a slow start to the stream, at least you're starting. It could be a rough start, but I think even just having like the small like bits of chitter chatter in chat, I feel like even as a streamer, for me, like it feels nice to see like, dang, someone's watching this and then they're willing to like just like talk to me, or even if like people see that you're not doing well. Sometimes it's cool just to have like random people in chat that you don't even know be like, hey man, you seem a little down than usual. What's going on? And then from there, like you get like get off your chest, and then things start to feel better because you're just talking with people, and then you kind of just get into the zone of just already streaming. But then it's just finding that weight of that let's go live button, finding a way to tough it out and just do it. Because I feel like it's easy for me to say, but when was the last time I streamed, right? It's like the same thing.
All right.
But what about you, Matt? Do you have any like I guess like short-term goals that you've recently found yourself kind of like blocked off or like not being able to reach?
I thought about this a lot actually. Like the whole concept of goals and like reaching them and feeling like blockers. And I feel like this was like a mindset I developed more recently was like to me the thing is like I don't feel so much. I mean like I got to a point where I realized that in order to achieve a goal, all it really takes is like time. And then like the question becomes how much time can you actually put into it? And how much it's two things. It's like how much time can you put into it, and then how much time are you willing to put into it? And then for me, it was like once I could define that, it didn't feel like blockers anymore. It just felt like, man, if I want this, I can put more time into it. And if I don't, then like I can put either way, I can put the right amount of time to it and realize that because of that, it's going to take longer or it'll be shorter. It's like the way I see it is it gives me more control over, what I'm trying to accomplish. But I think like the big change was like I had to realize that, it really does take time. And it's really up to you if you wanted to like set the time to it or not. Because like to me, it's like if you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen, right? Like, but truth be told, sometimes like I can imagine like if I was a streamer, right, and I wanted to grow my community, like I would do things at like 24-hour streams or like I do crazy things and I just try to stream all the time. But I also get the concept that like it is exhausting and I don't want it that badly. So, but I still want it. So it's okay. Like I can do it for every hour every now and then. But I have to accept that fact. Or like for me, it was like accepting that fact and not like realizing it's like a blocker or not. Because I think at the end of the day, the only thing that like really gets in anyone's way for goals is themselves. I think that's like literally it. And it's like twofold. It's like really understanding how bad do you want your goal. And then like also understanding the idea of timing, which kind of resonates. Like Ralph, what you mentioned, I think is really cool. Is this like you don't find success overnight. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you get lucky. Like that for sure that exists. Um, but I don't think, truth be told, I don't think it's really luck. I think it's someone that put in a lot of time, so much so that luck wasn't that much of a factor. It's like you tried so many times that eventually it just happens. And maybe it happens like the third time, maybe it happens the 100th time. But if you really, really want something, like you're willing to be both.
It was like
And then
you worked hard
eventually,
enough where
yeah.
the odds ended up stacked in your favor, right? Where
Right.
it was no longer luck. It's like, no, it's because I did this, I'm grinding at it, I'm working at it. And if I keep grinding at it, at some point it's gonna hit, right?
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So like the way I think for me the big thing is it's similar. It's like this concept of motivation is like so there's like some days where I know I don't really want to do something. Like I don't want to work on the podcast or like I don't want to work out or go to the gym or anything like that. And I think those are the moments where like you really get the opportunity to define if you really want something or not. And when you're in those moments, I don't think it's about I got to do something big in these moments. I got to force myself to get through this. It's like the way I think of it is like I got to do one thing, like one tiny thing to help this goal of mine. It doesn't have to be major. I don't have to stream for an hour. Maybe it's just I have to, update my Twitch profile. And like what I try to do is break something down to like the smallest step when I don't have motivation. So then I can feel like I'm still building towards it, but understand I didn't want to put that much effort into it still. You know what I mean? And I think that's huge because I think it's really easy to work on something when you're really motivated. I think like I'm sure all three of us have felt it. Like you're kind of like in this flow. Like sometimes when you're streaming and you get viewers and things are rolling, like it feels so good. But I think that what defines like a good streamer are the days where things aren't rolling and they're still out there grinding, or like the days where you still put the play button on because you're
It's
bored.
raining, yeah.
Yeah. And for those days, for me, it's all about how can I convince myself to at least work on it. So I just break it down to the smallest possible thing.
I do like the idea of
Nice.
like breaking it down, like breaking down your big goal into something small enough. So if you don't complete it, it doesn't feel so defeating, right? Because there are a lot of times where like, even just if we're gonna stick with the example of streaming, where you're just like, man, I should have streamed yesterday, and you kind of get like down in the dumps about it, and you kind of like beat yourself up about it, and then since it's already the next day, you're already beating yourself about not streaming yesterday. That today you're already like, all right, now that I'm in a down mindset, let me try to be super happy and positive. Like it doesn't. You've already tripped yourself up to like fail, right? But I like the idea of like setting it to small steps. So if you don't do it, it's no big deal. But if you do it, you're definitely like you're making progressional steps towards that bigger goal. And I think, like I mean, both you guys have touched on it, where we live like in a day and age where everybody wants that instant gratification. We want things like now and quick. It's just like even if we're putting in hard work, we want to see some sort of results. Whether that's viewer count go up, chat going wild, emotes flying everywhere. But it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen overnight, right? It takes time, and I guess it's hard for streaming too, because it's hard to like quantify your growth. Like where some days you'll be on a good roll, you'll feel like you're in your flow state and things are working really well. Your viewers are going up, chat's talking and buzzing, and then the next day you could be doing the same thing, feeling the same thing, but then maybe there's just like 5 people in chat, maybe 2 people are talking, and that's kind of about it. And it's like it wasn't really. I wouldn't say it's just you that was the problem, because what you did the day before was working out really well. And it's just constantly grinding and almost like having that never give up attitude, right? Where it's just like, no, this is like we're making progress every day that we do this. Every day we keep doing it, and we figure out what can we do better, what can we do, how can I interact more, how can I pause and like appreciate my viewers, how can I improve my gameplay, stuff like that. But I think it's tough to like come to terms to, right? Where all these big goals that we have, they all take a lot of time, right? Like you said too, Ralph, if it was easy, everybody would have it. But like it just goes down to like how bad do you want it? How much are you willing to give for it? And the big thing is, I think that we've all kind of touched on, is just having the time. Being able to set apart that time for something that valuable. Do I want to stream and work harder, or do I want to just kind of like chill, relax, and just like kind of goof off with no pressure? So it's all about just weighing out those wants and desires.
Yeah. And I feel like if I could like build on that, I think like the thing that makes it really hard is this like idea. For me, it's like you compare yourself to everyone else that's doing it,
Oh, yeah.
and you like see all these people grow and you see all this,
I'm
but
never
like
gonna
you
be
only
Ninja.
see,
Never gonna be the Doc.
yeah, right. And like you think like from an outside view, sometimes it seems like they were an overnight success, but like you don't see the days where they were grinding it out or where they thought like,
Yeah,
yo,
like
I
50
gotta like
viewers.
yeah, like how much time did they spend thinking about their stream or like how they want to do things? Like how much did Doc think about his persona that he created? Like, yo, these are the glasses, these are the mustache, this is the hair I want.
Mm-hmm.
Like you never, we'll never have that insight. And I'm sure it like he had his own thing, but you'll never see that because he's already like he figured it out. He put the time in and like did all that. I think that's like what makes it really hard. And it goes back to like the whole instant gratification thing is like it's really dangerous to hope for that because there's like so much work that I think everyone really puts into all the things that they do that we don't get to see. And it's crazy, like exactly what Ralph said. Like if everyone was doing it, they'd all have six packs or all that stuff. But all the people with six packs, you don't realize like how much time they spend at the gym, like how much time, like how bad did they
Diet
really
too.
want it? Yeah, all the things that like drove them, all the like hardships ever like that made them want to get ripped. Like you don't ever see that. You just see the end result. And I
Mm.
think that's like to me it's huge because I think like to me the big thing is like motivation, right? And for me it's like how do I constantly find ways to motivate myself? And like I do that by saying, yo, every minute I spend on this thing is a minute more than the guy that just thought about it. And then when I think of it that way, like I'm not comparing myself to everyone that's above me. I think it's good because it makes you want to grind harder. But at the same time, you have to find like this balance of saying, yo, I'm doing more than the guy before me. And like I want to make sure that that guy wants to catch up to me. Like it's this weird competition that I feel like we're always in. And for me, that's like my motivation is like, do I feel like I'm doing more than some other guy out there? And if
Mm.
so, then yo, I should keep doing it. And then like I'm if I'll find success faster than him or them or whatever. And like to me that kind of motivates me. I think like and again like for me it's like all about finding whatever I can find to motivate me because that's like the hardest thing is like finding that motivation and figuring out what your strategies are to get yourself in the right mindset.
Well said. Well said.
Mhm.
I think something interesting that one of our other viewers said. I feel bad, so I'm gonna go ahead and call them out. So the first guy I was talking about was Kevin Reyes. He was the one who was talking about
Sorry.
having the overnight shift and just kind of like being being lazy and just like once you're comfortable, you kind of have the tendency to like just kind of want to sit there. Um,
Mhm.
so we all can do our part and help Kevin be more accountable for making progress, making moves, and figuring out how to get out of that rut. But
Mhm.
Kevin Favis also responded to the question, and he mentioned some interesting stuff. One thing that really stood out to me was like him saying that one thing that's stopping him from like achieving his goals is just thinking that you'll always have tomorrow rather than today.
Mm.
Where it's like, oh, I don't have this
Do
stream
it next
today.
week or.
I could do it tomorrow.
Mhm.
I can put things off till later. Um, and just I guess it's almost just coming to that realization of just there may not be tomorrow. Why don't we get it? Why don't we just get it done today?
Mm.
Um, and it's tough. Like everyone has that fear of like failure, fear of being rejected, fear of feeling like the work that you put in wasn't worth it. Um, but one thing he also said was it's definitely better to have like made an attempt in trying it than to just sit there and wonder and ponder all the what if scenarios.
Mm.
So I thought that was really really well said and profound for me.
Right. 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 Actually, one of my streamer friends. So he said this like in a joking manner, but he also like afterward just like on some real shit. So he's like an art streamer, and then he was talking about like the weekend he had, blah blah. He like hung out with this girl. He's like, yo, let's just treat ourselves. And they went to this like really bougie place. He's like, I'm gonna pay for mine, you gonna pay for yours, but we gonna have like a good ass, right? And then everyone in chat was just like, I'd love to do that, but I'm broke or whatever type deal. I'm just like, yeah, I could feel what they're saying. And then he's just like, yo, just make more money or whatever. And then he's just like, like, yo, I'm just playing. But then afterwards, he's like, yo, if the things that you want to do are like out of your reach, it's like, why the fuck aren't you like going out there to improve yourself or get to that position where like, yo, I'm comfortable to where I'm making this money and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna have like a ballin' ass weekend, have a good time type thing. And that shit like spoke to me. I'm just like, damn. I'm like, I'm not gonna like shit on my job or anything. My job's alright or whatever. I'm just like, I could definitely like be doing more or whatever, or at least like having another part time. I mean, it's the factor of like applying yourself. It's like you gotta apply to like really like. It's like, do you really want this, or are you just like you're just wishing for it and wishing for like $1 million to fall in your lap? It's like that's, I mean, very small luck, but like you gotta like be out there like putting yourself out there. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want to make at least like a little bit more money, like type thing. Like let me do this as a side job. It's like odd side jobs even. Like, you know what I mean? And then like even from that, like you'd make connections, like meeting new people and just like, oh, you stream too, or like you live too, like you just learn shit and then you end up like meeting more people even. It's like it just grows.
Mm-hmm.
So
But I think the big thing too is just like understanding that you need to set goals, right? Like you need to
right.
find like a reason to fuel that motivation. Like why should you get a second job? To have more money? What are you going to do with that money?
Mm.
There's your then your goal is set. Then you could be like, all right, now I have a reason why I should work this second job. I'm going to put more time and effort so I can get to this. So I think it's important just to always remember, like, just to constantly be setting goals, like, to help drive you, to help motivate you to take action, right? As opposed to just sitting at a standstill. Because I think it's good to be like happy with the way like your life's going, right? I have no right to judge. No one has any right to judge. It's your life. If you're happy doing it, ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Let's keep doing it. But if you want more, like, don't be complaining to me. I ain't gonna throw you some money. If I have money to throw away, then dang, what am I doing? But like, you know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of people who just kind of complain about, oh, woe is me, woe is me, woe is this. But then you ask them, so what are you doing to change that? And they're like, I don't know. Life sucks. Life dealt me a bad hand, and I can't do anything about it. And it's like, no, you can. I mean, to be fair, there are some circumstances where, okay, maybe you are asking for something pretty impossible. But that doesn't mean you can't, redefine a goal, make it more. Stop making it a dream and make it a goal instead. That's the whole difference between a dream and a goal. Goal is something attainable. A dream is something, you fantasize about. Doesn't mean you can't reach your dreams. You could. But it all depends on how you break it down and how you set the goals and the moves that you're going to make. And it's all about like just starting to make the moves, big or small. But I feel like that's always the hard part, where we always feel, I don't know if it applies to you guys. Like it's nice to feel comfortable in your safe spot, your safe area. Like there are times where like, you don't want to wander off. Or even if you do wander off, you gravitate back to your safety net, your home, your little hubble, right? But I think that also is like a trait that I don't think everybody has, like the desire for more. To like,
Yep.
man, this isn't enough. Because like I think we kind of touched on it before too, where it's just like, at what point is it enough, right? Where it's like the simple phrase where we always want what we don't have, but once we have it, then we want something else, and then it's just like it's just a cycle over and over and over again, right?
I think the thing that I think is really frustrating is like it's super super easy to set goals. It's like really really easy to decide what you want. I think the thing that to me that becomes really frustrating is people don't do a really good job of defining how they're going to get there. And it's like it's funny because like even for me it's really hard because it's something that you have to figure out yourself, and it's one of those things where like people can hold you accountable and they can try to push you, but you're never going to get there unless you do it yourself. You know what I mean? Like you can try to help people and tell them like, yo, this is how I think you should do it because this is how I did it. But very rarely do people really listen to that because it has to come from inside of them. And I think like to me that's the thing that it becomes very interesting, and it comes like for me it's just like about listening to people because you can't do much more. Like you can try to suggest things, and I love the idea of keeping people accountable because like to be real that's what people kind of want. But it's like it's funny. Like I have a friend that is like, yo, I want to go out and I want to like meet more people. I want to be outgoing. I like want to be better with girls and all this stuff. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's go to a bar. And then they're like, no, I'd rather like just stay in and like drink at my friend's house. And I'm like, well, like, I mean, yeah, I mean, of course, it's more fun. We're gonna feel like it's more fun at first, and it's gonna be more comfortable.
Mhm.
But we're never gonna get better at this thing that you want. And it's like, yeah, but yeah, like it's more comfortable. Yeah, but like that like you don't get it. If you want something more than your life, you have to change what you're already doing. But
Mhm.
like a lot of people just keep going to like
Same.
do the same thing and hope something different
Something
happens.
different. Yeah.
And like it blows my mind. Like, well, it's funny, like especially the girl thing. Like because I feel like especially us three, it's funny. Like I mean, we're all like single guys and we're like doing that, but like so many people want to get better at talking with girls or meet more girls. It's like, well, you're not going to meet more girls by hanging out with the same friends you always hang out with. And you're not going to get better at talking to them either because they're the same friends you're always hanging out with. And like to me, like I think it's funny, and to me, it's frustrating because at the same time, like we don't always push each other. I think it's even us three, even like when we hang out with our friends, it like. I mean, I love doing the same shit with you guys. I love just getting completely wasted at Shoreview. But then
That
it's
doesn't
like,
happen.
it, it's like, is that what we want to do, or do we also want to do other things? And like finding that balance is hard. I think it also takes like, it takes courage to go out of your comfort zone, and it never. I mean, that's the whole concept of growth, right? Is like you got to do stuff that you've never done before, and you have to keep doing it until you get good at it. It's just like working out,
Oh yeah. Or playing a game or
playing a game, yeah, learning combos. But you got
yeah.
to sit there and like flop a little bit, and then like you get there.
Mhm.
Um,
That makes
but yeah,
makes a lot of
I'm kind of rambling, but
I,
it's like this. I think it's funny because then it goes back to this concept of how bad do people really want it, or like do you just want it but you don't want to put in the work for it? And I think that it's I think it takes time too, and that's where I think I've also learned is frustrated because people realize that at their own pace. So you sometimes you just have to like listen and be there, but you can't push because they have to come to it on their own terms or they'll just hate you for it.
Mm. Yeah,
I'll just say. So I guess for the example was kind of brought up for us where we're all single guys, and like for us, like if we had a chance to go out and meet girls, like it'd be cool to do, right? But I also feel like for me, it's like so intimidating to do. And I would definitely see myself as a guy that's like, oh, let's just chill and kick back, relax, like let's just hang out with just us. But like I'll talk about like, yo, let's go out and meet girls, and then when it comes down to it, I'll be like, I don't know if I want to do it. I'll easily back out. What do you guys think? Like if that situation like arose, like literally like that, what do you guys think you could do to it has almost pushed me to be like, don't be scared. Don't be such a baby. Let's go out and meet girls. And like convince me like, hey, it'll be worth it.
Hmm.
Cuz that's what I think it is too, where it's just like where people think too much about the failure, but there's no it's almost like the reward isn't worth the failure.
Hmm.
Or the fear of potentially failing. But what are you gonna say, Ralph? I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
Oh, I was gonna say like I'm kind of the same boat as you. I'm just like nah. I'd rather just like can we just like kick it and like have drinks and holler and do dumb shit. Um, but as far as like so essentially what you're saying is like to gas you up or like gas like a friend up. It's like yo let's go out and
Mm-hmm.
try to like get us type thing. Um, I don't really know like what exactly I'd say. Or actually, well, knowing me, I'd just be like, yo, let's just go out and dance. Cause I like dancing. Or whatever. So like, I'd just be like, yo, let's go out and dance. So they're gonna be playing some good music and shit. Or go to this club. Or whatever. Um, and then, man, actually, like, coming down to it. So, it was like me, Dean, Kevin, Tonica, and Marie. Oh, we all hung out like in downtown like 3 weeks ago. And there's this girl at this bar. I forgot which one it was. And I was like, 17. I'm definitely gonna like get at her or whatever type deal. And then he's like, "You gonna do it?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I gotta wait for the right time though. Like, I can't just like rush in there or whatever." And like, like 15 minutes later, like they're both gone. Like her friend was okay. Like her friend was definitely not the one I wanted to go for. I'm just like, damn it. I should have at least like just went. And like you said, like, what's the worst? She's just gonna reject me. It's like at least knowing like you talked to her. It's like, oh, like maybe you like got a 5 minute conversation in with her, and she's into the same shit as you, like as crazy, or whatever. Like, ah,
But it's tough, right? Like in the moment, it's just
yeah,
like
it's like, oh wait, like the hesitation type deal.
So yeah, it is. It's tough, and like it's crazy because like I feel like we've all felt that moment. I feel like everyone's felt that moment where it's like you know what you want to do and you know what you should do, but you're like so paralyzed by like what could all the possible things that could go wrong. So you're like, let's just not do anything. And it's like, I mean, it's so easy to do that. I mean, and then like, but it also sucks because you get like leave yourself wondering what if, and then but you can't really be mad because it's completely your fault. It's like this terrible feeling. I completely hate it. I've been there too. Um, for me, it goes back to like the same idea with goals. Is like I think I like to do this. I mean, I think there's two approaches, right? You either like just jump right into the deep end and you just straight up go in, you talk to this girl, and like maybe you succeed, or like more likely you'll completely flop. Um, and then it becomes to me, it's like a like test of your personality type. Like, are you the kind of person that will want to get better from that, or will it discourage you so much that you'll never do it ever again? And then based off of you or the person, like I think that's where you decide how you approach the situation. For me, the way I would have done it, or the way I approached those kind of things, is like, well, let's do the smallest possible thing, right? Instead of going to drink at Shoreview, let's go to a bar we've never been to. And let's just do that.
Mm,
Like
that's
that's all
pretty
we
cool.
have to do. Like
mhm.
that's the first step. And then maybe like the next time we go out and we just like make eye contact with a girl. Like that's all you're trying to do. Like that's it. Yeah. And then maybe you completely flop at that. Maybe you're just yeah. And the next time maybe you buy a drink for somebody. I don't know. But like for me, I think it's like you like just take it down in phases and get comfortable at each part of it. Because I think there's like so much to the whole experience, right? There's so much to it. Like
Mhm.
the first thing that makes me uncomfortable is like being at a bar I've never been to before. Like the next thing is like talking to people that I've never talked to before. And like to me, like you can kind of break it down into things where you can get comfortable in those scenarios. And then I'm all about like setting yourself up for success. So when you're ready to pull off a move, like you've done everything right already, and you can still fail, don't get me wrong, but you realize that you've broken all these things down and you've done the homework,
Mhm.
and then you can like constantly get better and look at the small things that you can get better at. Otherwise, it's like it becomes so easy to just like go out there completely flop and be like, man, I have no idea what happened. Like maybe it was my hair, maybe it's what I said, maybe like you have a billion variables that you can blame it on. And then instead we won't you don't think of it that way. You think of it internally and you're just like, well, I just suck at this.
Yeah, I failed
So I'm never
miserably.
gonna do it again. And then like that I think becomes a really dangerous like it's a slippery slope because once you like start seeing yourself in a negative light and then you fail and if you fail again, like your ego like gets completely crushed and you keep going downhill and you're not thinking productively anymore. You're just thinking of why do I keep doing this to myself? Like I'd rather just stay in next time.
It's like that
And
that failure
then
was confirmed because you failed again, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
yep,
And then once you go down that slope, you're like completely fucked. Because then it becomes even easier to not change anything and then like you almost never become happy and you start to convince yourself I want this in life because everything else is too scary or too hard. But you convince yourself like, you know what, I really don't want to talk. I don't want to go out there and meet more people. I want to just, hang out with all the same people that I've always hung out with. When there's nothing wrong with that. It's kind of like how we constantly shift. You're always going to change on what you want, and what you don't want. I think the big difference is like you can work on those things more productively. And like realizing that I think is huge because once you start seeing the world in that light, like I think you can start basically to me it's like you can do anything And I like to me like I'm an optimist. I think like people can do anything. I think everyone has the capability to do anything they possibly want to do. It's just understanding how you work and like breaking it down in a way that makes sense to you and your style. And I think like that's huge. I think it's huge. Um, so for me, it's like all about like learning how you learn. And then once you do that, it's like breaking down everything into that like sense of like that concept.
Right.
Sorry, I kind of like rambled. I feel like
No, you're good.
I
No,
went on for a while there.
If you have a good point, like that's just like, you know, I think stuff like that shows like you feel like strong about it. You have things to say and you want to really defend, and like it's almost just let us know, hey, this is kind of important stuff. This is a big deal to me, so don't feel bad about it.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you.
But as we are starting to wind down a bit, this is something a little interesting I wanted to throw to you guys real quick. So like I've been seeing all the memes about like how like technically like the decade is over in the next like week, right? So specifically with you, Ralph, I want to ask you this. What do you think that you've accomplished like so far? Like I would say like this year, even like this decade, right? Like what do you think, like where, if you could think back to where you were at like 2010, like compared to where you are now, like how much have you grown? How much have you changed? And like can you tell like the difference between you now and 2010 you? And as a follow-up as well, if you can't think of like good things to answer it, how can you start off 2020 as the new and improved Wreck-It Ralph?
Well, I definitely don't drink as much as I used to back in 2010. But all bullshit aside, 2010, man, 2010 me, I was 19, going on 20. That
Yeah, that's a long time, man.
that's yeah, it's been a while. I mean, besides the partying shit, I mean, when you're young, you just party and do all that shit. I feel like, and also the girl I was with, like, she wasn't all that. She was like when we, like first year we were together. We were together for like 2.5 years, and then like I just kind of got strung on. I was on that like basically puppy route. Like I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like I'll follow along. Like she'll fuck me over. I'm still gonna come back then type shit. Still gonna, you know what I mean? Like it sucked, but once you get older and you experience more of the world, like I tell a lot of my friends, like people like I went to high school with, 'cause I still hang with a lot of like, and then we'll just talk about like younger people, and I'm just like, yeah, I feel like I didn't really know how the world really worked till I was 24, because I feel like I had that much experience like being around other people, different mindsets, that people aren't, especially like the job I have, because like I gotta be like, I'm customer service essentially. Like I gotta be nice and shit. Like people will try to milk you. Like people try to take advantage of you, and that shit like sucks. That's why like a lot of times at my job, just I don't mean to like ramble about my job, but like they'll try to be like, oh yeah, they'll try to have like small talk with me, and I'll just try to like cut it short. Because in my head, I'm like, they're probably just trying to milk me and be like, oh yeah, can you hook me up with a late?
Oh,
like no, bitch. But there's definitely times where like, in my head, like after we have the conversation, I'm like, I think they really just wanted to have a nice conversation, and I'm just like, damn, am I just so deep in the bowels of being like people are shit that like, you know what I mean? But besides that, like I like to try to think that like people in general are like good. We're all trying to look out for each other. And I feel like friends really like your close friends, or even just people that your acquaintances. Like I feel like they can like reignite that. It's like, oh man, like just remember that people aren't always like shitty type deal. And as far as like the girls things go, bro, like that was like a big, like one of my close friends, his name's Willie, back in Lakeland. And, like he's one of my like good friends like for a long time. So I was like junior year, so that's like good 12, 13 years. And every now and then, like my old ex will come up, But like the one of the main things that he told me that like really reached me was like, cause he's really like profound. Like he thinks deep about like a lot of, and he's like I know it wasn't great. I know she was kind of shitty, but he's like, but what did you take from that? What did you learn from that? And I'm just like, oh, you're right. He's like, I'm sure you had some shitty times, but he's like, you had some good times, and you learned not only stuff about her, but stuff about probably like girls in general stuff. And I'm just like, that makes sense. Like, it's just a learn like when something like fucks you over, it's like you can either just be like, man, fuck that or whatever, or be like kind of like ponder on it and be like, all right, this is what I took from this. This is what I took from me, like how I feel. And it's like, yo, I don't deserve to be treated that way, type thing too. Like, if you end up like getting with another girl or guy, like 29, and then they're like treating you like shit or whatever, why am I like hanging?
Mm-hmm.
That was my big take.
True. Nice, man. So what do you think? What do you think is in store for the world in 2020? 2020. What is 2020 Ralph gonna do? The main reason I ask this is because what's gonna happen is after you say what you're gonna do in 2020, I'm gonna hold you accountable and be like, remember when you said this? Where you at?
I like that. I like that. I like that.
So think about it. Choose your words carefully.
Well, because I've already been thinking. I've been thinking about it since like fucking like late November.
True.
I'm just like I said, I work the night shift, so 3 o'clock hour. A lot of shit goes. But I'm just like next year. I'm definitely gonna go on trips. I want to go on more trips than I did like this year. Because it was like the Cali thing. Even though I didn't make it to TwitchCon, but I was like, it was like such an adventure to me. So cool. Like I'm not even here for that long, but I'm like meeting you, and then I'm meeting with people from online and stuff. Like I'm like, this is just like a whole new place. Cause I've been like West Coast and like I was 4 type deal.
Dang.
It's like doing new things, traveling to new places. I also want to I do want to get like a new tat, kind of like in like memory of like my friend that passed away this year. It's kind of that, and the fact of like, it's like you're gonna die sooner or later type deal. Like I want to get memento mori, which is Latin for you'll have to die or whatever. And it's like, did you like impact people enough? Were you positive enough so people remember you, or were you always like just bitching about? Oh yeah, he's like always bitched or type deal. I feel like touching other people, even though like I know like everyone's going through their own shit. It's like, man, I'm kind of in a negative mood today. Like it's like trying to like overcome to be like at least like give somebody a smile or something. That could be somebody's like everything that day. That conversation. But just keeping in memory is like, yeah, you're gonna have sooner or later, maybe even do
Hopefully
shit,
not sooner.
have fun, impact people,
All right. Then 2020, Ralph, we'll see you traveling the world, shaking hands and sharing smiles, making that impact, man. But to let you know, I think any of your friends could say that you've definitely had like an awesome impact in our lives. So far, you're doing pretty good.
Appreciate it.
But I would throw this question to you, Matt. But unfortunately, we are running out of time. We will have time because we'll be doing more podcasts because we're gonna keep on going. So I'll let you think about it and give you a head start as to what to say for these things. But unfortunately, that is gonna pretty much wrap it up for this podcast. I thought it was very funny that our poll question ended up being a majority of our discussion, which it's not bad. I think it's still a good thing. Like where it's just like, man, that ended up being like a really good hitting point, I think, for all of us. So I hope that you guys, the viewers, the listeners out there, enjoyed it as well. But as usual, if you haven't already, don't forget to like our video, subscribe to it as well. Hit that bell button so you get notified whenever our new video goes up live. And just so you know, if you didn't know, if you do want to catch us live, we're live Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when the show starts. But if you want to come out and chill a little bit earlier, we do have a pre-show around like 8:30 where we kind of just chill, hang out, talk with Chad a little bit more too. So go ahead and click that sub button. It's free. That's all I gotta say. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Instagram. That's almostawesome_IG. We'll be posting our audience questions that we start the show off with on there. So you guys, as the audience, have a chance to participate in the show. Just like, shout out Kevin Reyes and Kevin Favis for their answers and participating in this talk. So follow us there. almostawesome_IG. As usual, we're always looking for any sort of assistance, whether that be moderators in chat, whether that's like potential graphic designers for different graphics or different sort of content posts we can put up, even like editors or ways that we can increase our production value. So if any of you guys out there are interested in lending us a hand, you can send a message to me or Matt on our Twitters. I would think you can hit me at PirateLolo514. Matt's, yours is _Kid Reynolds.
Yes, I believe so.
If I'm wrong, I'll put it in the description, so you guys can message us there if you're interested in lending us a helping hand. And like I said, like any small bit really helps out. Whether you're just like modding in chat, whether you're helping us come with new graphic designs for just the show itself, or just weird ads that we may put up. So thanks in advance. But I believe that should be about it. Right?
So, Ralph, in our normal fashion, I have two things for you. One is if you could see one person on the podcast,
Ooh.
who you think would be a really cool guest, because we would love to have them.
I don't think you've had him. I would say, wait, have you had him? I'd say BJ. Has BJ been on?
BJ has been on one time.
BJ has been on already?
He's
But we can
been
put him back on the back line.
he's been a repeat offender.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
We can add it.
But it's not a bad suggestion. I do enjoy talking with BJ. So.
Oh, Kevin Favis. I don't think he's been on, right?
We've got him too, Ralph.
He has been on as well.
Oh.
It's okay. There's a lot of podcasts you gotta catch up on. You've been busy.
There's no
busy,
wrong
man.
answers here. If anything, it's more of a you'd love to see them again.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Okay. Well, Ralph, thank you again for being part of the podcast. It has been amazing having you. And to echo what Mark said, like 2019, Ralph is doing a good job of being a positive influence, at least in my life.
Thank you.
And on Twitch, twitch.tv/Blinking Airwaves.
Amen. But Ralph, we are going to give you 1 minute. You can close out the podcast in however fashion and however way you want. But we'll give you a minute. I'll start a timer. I'll just go 3, 2, 1, go. And the floor will be yours for a minute. And then we'll end the podcast.
We'll set everybody free.
All right. Well, here we go.
Let me know when the time's gone.
3, 2, 1, go.
First of all, I want to thank Matt and Mark for letting me be. It's really dope. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, or even if you just swung by and listened to it. It's pretty sick. But man, go out there and make it happen. I know it's like easier said, but like if you're hesitating, if you're pump faking like me in real life with different shit, do it, man. I promise you won't. Because if you don't, you're gonna keep going down the line of like, man, wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done that when I was 5 years younger. Type, man, I'm old as shit. Nah, you can still do shit when you're a little bit older. There's nothing. I'm not trying to shit on the older. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a great night. Y'all are the rocking on, baby.
All right, everybody, we're out. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you
Merry
soon.
Christmas. Happy
we'll see you
Hanukkah.
before 2020. Bye, everybody.